This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
It's now time for our entertainment segment, which means we're talking movies with Kit, and today he is reviewing Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is the second movie.
That's right.
About Captain America.
That's right.
So a lot of people were complaining that the first Captain America was just horrible, and they're a little kind of worried and hesitant to go and see this one, but you said that it kind of, you know, turned things around a little.
Yeah, actually, I was actually one of those people that thought the first one was really subpar. And the first one I just felt was a little too corny, but this one was kind of a complete 180 in terms of the quality of it. I like the way that Marvel's kind of going with the direction of their movies, and when they do these separate character pieces, you know, they have their big ensemble movie with the Avengers, but then since that, it's kind of interesting to see how each of these separate characters kind of take what happened in New York in the Avengers and then spin it to how it to make it relevant to their stories. So, you know, with Iron Man, you saw Tony Stark be really affected by it and have it, you know, really limit him. And then with Thor, it didn't really affect him too much. But then with Captain America, you kind of see that same sort of thing where he's a little stressed out about it, but at the same time, he recovers really quickly, and it kind of shows he really is a true natural-born leader. And that's why he's, you know, America's greatest soldier. So it was a great movie, great action scenes, and great.
So Winter Soldier, I mean, is he fighting in snow? Like, why the name title?
Winter Soldier primarily because he's a Russian soldier, essentially. So, or that's how they kind of play in the movie. There's a little, I don't want to give too much away for fear of giving me some spoilers, but for the most part, the Winter Soldier is simply just a nickname because he's apparently been an assassin for the past 50+ years. So him and Captain America actually end up having a really good conflict because they end up almost battling out evenly. They're a really good match for each other, and then it created a lot of suspense. And suspense is the one thing I wanted to talk about with this movie too, because suspense isn't something you'd associate with a superhero movie per se, but when I say suspense, it's in that this movie did such a great job in developing the characters. Yes, they're superheroes, but at the same time, they're vulnerable. So what that does, it gives you that sense of suspense. So not everyone's just going to be a tank and run through everything. And there are some times where he literally does run through some walls, but you still feel as though he's vulnerable, and he's not completely invincible. And it gives you that air of suspense and kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat a little bit more. So it did a great job in that regard. All
right. So, you know, it is a superhero movie. So is it appropriate for everybody in the family?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are some violent, obviously there's some violent moments in there, and there's some not necessarily adult themes, but you know, it's just mature content. I mean, parents at this point know, with the way Marvel's kind of gone with their movies nowadays, what they can and can't show their children. You know, and Marvel's done a great job in terms of making these movies kid-friendly. You know, there's no real foul language in it. There's no real excess violence where it's really unnecessary. And anytime they do have a really controversial scene per se, you know, they don't really focus in on it. So it's just a quick cut and then boom, on to the next scene.
So did they set it up at the end for a third one?
Kind of. I mean, with the way Marvel's kind of done things now, you kind of know that these characters are going to have an ongoing. I mean, they signed a huge extension in terms of having these movies continue. But I think at the end credit scene, and everyone knows there's always some lead or tie-in or tease at the end of all these Marvel movies or superhero movies in general. They lead into the Avengers and kind of giving us a preview of some cast members for the next Avengers movie. So it's kind of cool, and it's a little interesting. I had to do a little research, but it's really interesting.
So out of 5 stars?
I'll give it 4 stars. And the only knock on it for me was, A, I think it was a little bit too long, and B, there were some far-fetched situations that didn't really coincide with each other. So you may have an instance where he just destroys in this one scene, but then he kind of gets taken aback and gets destroyed by something he shouldn't get destroyed by.
I see.
As weird as it is, just some inconsistency with it. But 4 out of 5 stars, still a great superhero movie.
All right, thanks for that.
No problem.
And we'll be right back.